Hey everybody, welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. What are we going to make today? But first, if you haven't, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and give me a big thumbs up. It means a lot. Thank you. Today, we're going to try Kirkland Dupes. They had this beautiful arrangement for sale at Kirkland's on their website for $250. And I thought I could make that. So I found this pot at the dollar spot at Target for $5, and it's kind of the same color as of blue. It's smaller than the original, but that's okay. I don't need it to be that large. And I'm just taking the packaging off of it. It does have a stand. I go back and forth about whether I should use the stand. I end up ditching it because the original did not have a stand. And then I got these foam pieces at Dollar Tree to put the arrangement in, but they are slightly too big. But that's okay. I have other foam, so let me go and get some more foam I have from the Dollar Tree, and I'm probably going to need a couple pieces. And then I found these beautiful flowers at Dollar Tree today, and I think there's 4 of them, and I was really happy to find the right color of white. I used these flowers for another arrangement and they turned out really good. So I am hoping the same for this project. So I'm just going in, cutting the tags off all of them. And during this process, I'm thinking, these are not as white as the original. How can I make these whiter? And then I'm thinking spray paint. So I go in with this chalked chiffon cream spray paint that I picked up at Target. And I'm actually going to try to spray paint them. I have never spray painted flowers before, but I've seen other people do it, so I think it works. So I'm not going for 100% coverage. I'm going for, it to look mostly creamy white with some green like poking in, because the original did have a little bit of green in it as well. So I'm kind of going all over with the spray paint, turning it over and getting the backside on all 4 of these arrangements. I cannot believe the original is $250 for a 17-inch on the Kirkland's website. That is very expensive. And hopefully I'll get the same kind of look at the end from this arrangement. So I'm just going over with some more paint. I didn't really give it very much time to dry in between. And again, I'm just going for mostly white. And I'm just kind of shaking the excess paint out. I'm doing this in Florida and it's not only hot, it's humid. So they did not want to dry too fast, but I do go ahead and take my heat gun and try to dry that off. Didn't that turn out pretty good? I was impressed. And try to give it a quick dry. And it was taking a while to dry, but I just kind of wanted to see if this was going to work. So I'm going to go in with my floral scissors from Dollar Tree and cut off the individual branches of the plant. And I went ahead and cut all of them. Then I went ahead and let them dry because the heat gun was not going to work. So I'm just gluing down. I glued my 2 foam pieces together, and then I'm just gluing them down in the bottom of the pot so it doesn't move around. And then I am just going to put them as close together as I can and hope that I have enough. And I'm just doing 4 across. They're all pretty much the same size. And I can't remember how many rows I did. I just kept working until the entire block of foam was filled. And I just love how this turned out. It is very cute. And I'm glad I knew I could make something with this pot that I got at Target Dollar Spot. And I think this worked out perfectly for a Kirkland dupe. So I got them all in there. And then I'm going to go in with some of this floral moss from Dollar Tree. So total cost on this one is $5 for the pot, $4 for the flowers, $1 for the $10. I already had the foam. A little over $10. And we have our first Kirkland dupe. And it's not exactly the same, but it's pretty close. And it gives me that same vibe, the really white, full flower arrangement with the bright blue pot. And I think it looks fantastic. I love it. I'm just kind of spreading it all out for maximum fluff and to make it look full. And we're done. Here it is. Okay, our next dupe is this lantern from Kirkland's, and it is $19.99 on their website. Well, I found these little glass candle holders at Dollar Tree today, and they're a similar shape, and they're 2 different sizes, but I thought that would be good to, if I was going to make 2, to make 2 different sizes. So I have this wired jute cord that I got at the Dollar Tree, and I thought that would be really good for the handle because it would be firm and it would stay in place. They kind of used, it looked like a thicker rope, but I didn't have any rope in that diameter. So I'm just kind of measuring how long I think that the lantern handle should be. And then I have this jute roll that I got at the Dollar Tree. So gonna put my finger protectors on, go in with my hot glue gun and get started. I'm just gonna glue on the handle first. It looks like that's how they did it, and then they wrapped jute cord over it to hide that part. So I'm just gluing the handle on, and then I'm gonna go in and get my jute cord started. And you do have to glue on the first row because otherwise it's gonna, come up over the top of the glass candle holder. And so I am carefully, my hot glue gun likes to shoot out a lot of hot glue, so I'm trying not to use too much. Once you get it glued, then you don't have to glue anymore. The friction of winding this around your candle holder is going to keep it in place. So I wind it around and around until like the handles are covered. Give it a snip and cut off that jute cord and glue it down. And I thought it needed another row on the top to kind of cover the hot glue. So I'm just going in with one strand of the jute cord on the very top row, like inside the handle, to kind of give it that finishing touch. And I'm just gluing it like 4 times around. I'm trying not to use too much glue. And snip it off so it'll kind of go like where the handle is, and I want to go inside the handle and snip that off. And then I'm just trying to take off all the extra strings of hot glue. And you don't have to do this step if you're not comfortable, but a lot of times there's string on this jute. So if you go over it with a lighter, it burns it all off and makes it look really good and clean. And just giving it a quick wash to get all that glue off. And I got these candles in a package for $1 at the Dollar Tree. And lantern number 1 is done. So this is the larger one. I'm going to do the same thing. This time I'm going to do that last step first. So I'm going to do that row of jute along the top first, gluing it in place and giving it a quick snip. Then I'm going to go in with the wired jute for the handle. It was kind of fraying a little bit, so I gave it a little trim so it would look clean. And I am just gluing that to each side again. I glue my handles up, and I kind of liked them like that, but then when I looked at the original, they have theirs down, so I do end up bending them down, but since it's wire, you can kind of rearrange it as you like. And then I'm going to start with my jute. I have to glue the first row again. And then just start swirling. Actually, I only had to glue the very beginning of it there because I already had that one in place. So once I get my handle covered, I'm going to glue it down, give it a quick snip. And I had one that looked a little wonky, so I just kind of pulled it off and re-glued it straight. Then I'm going to go in again with my lighter. I kind of like this step. I think it's kind of fun to burn off all the loose little strings and then wash off my hot glue and add my candle, and they're done. So total cost $2 for the glass, 50 cents for the candles, and some string for $1. We did pretty good for 2 of them. Okay, this is the third and final Kirkland dupe. This is a ceramic potted plant that they have for $19. Now I found this at the Dollar Tree and I thought it had that same texture that I really liked in this clear glass. It is long and skinny and not short like theirs, but I think it's going to give me a similar effect. So I'm just going in with my cream Waverly chalk paint from Walmart. And I'm giving it a really heavy coat because it's got all of these little pits and holes in it. And I'm really trying to get the paint like down inside all the holes. So I'm definitely going in a lot heavier than I normally would. I want it to look like it is white ceramic, like the original piece. And I'm kind of taking my foam brush and pushing it into all those little divots. And I want to go ahead and do the bottom, and I'm just holding it, you know, from the inside where there isn't any paint. Then I go around and get the top, and I do the inside, but only around the lip where you'd be able to see that the inside was clear. So I'm just going over with my heat gun, giving it a good dry. It was kind of hard to dry it completely because I had so much paint on there. And here I am going over it with a second coat of paint. I really want it to look solid white. I don't want any of the glass to be showing through. And you can see how thick I am coating that on there. I thought about using the baking soda trick, but the chalk paint itself worked to give it a good thick gunky cover to cover all of that glass and to make it look like pottery. So I give it like a second really heavy coat here. And again, I'm pushing it into all the little bumps and ridges. And I'm going to go over the top again. And then I have this gold acrylic paint that I'm not sure where I got it. I've had it forever. And I'm just kind of going over with a small brush the top to give the rim a gold look like the original had. And just on that lip part, it's going to be this shiny gold detail. And it goes on pretty easy. You can kind of use the edges of the rim. You don't really have to tape it or anything like that. Then I'm going to go in with a dry brush, and I'm going to take this gold and I'm going to stipple the gold all over to bring out the texture on the pot. And I'm just using this chippy brush that I got at Dollar Tree, and it was dry. So I just want a really thin coat of gold to bring out all that detail. I did have a little chip there, so I'm going in with some white, and there is our pot. And then I bought these fern plants. I think I ended up getting too many. I wanted it to be really full, like the original. But this isn't a very wide pot, so I'm just kind of seeing how many will fit in there. It's so skinny that I just cut down my foam into little tiny pieces and just kind of toss them in there to have something to stick the plant into. So I'm taking one of the fern pieces off that doesn't really look the same, just ripping it off. So that was 2, and then this is 3 of the little fern plants from the Dollar Tree. And I think that's plenty. So $1 for the pot, $3 for the plants. So on our dupes, here's our original, this $250 ceramic arrangement. And here is my dupe from the Dollar Tree and the Dollar Spot. I think it turned out really similar. And here is the original from Kirkland's. Their lanterns were $20, $19.99 on their website. And here are my Dollar Tree creations. I made 2 of them, and they turned out just great. I love them. I did glue the candles down to the bottom so they didn't kind of move around. And here is their ceramic potted plant they have for $19.99, $20. And then here is my version from the Dollar Tree. So total cost on this one was $4 plus the cost of paint. What do you guys think?